Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Another new update came out actually towards the end of last month, so we've got a few more cars to check out for in this update, as well as 3 new events and a new menu book. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it with the first car, the Renault Avantime 3.0 V6 24V from 2002. We're taking it to the European Sunday Cup 400 at Circuit de Saint-Croix B Reverse. So, with all of that words out of the way, let's get going. In a bit of a rarity, an engine swap was added for the Renault Avantime straight away with this update. Quite often new cars do get engine swaps in the following update, but yeah, on rare occasions they just come with them available straight away, which is very interesting. So that's why we're actually driving a different copy of the car. I bought 2 straight away so I could have one with the engine swap, and that's what we're driving in this race. I did initially drive the stock version, but this one's a lot more fun, obviously with a lot more horsepower, but that is all I've done with this car is the engine swap and some tyres. Other than that, it is stock, but that alone has made it pretty OP for this race, so we should be able to just smash through the field reasonably quickly here. But it's got to be said, doing Saint Croix in reverse in just a standard career mode race is very weird, especially this left-hander that just goes on forever. Normally a right-hander. But yeah, this whole experience of driving this track in this direction just it felt kind of wrong, I gotta say. But anyway, that's what happens when you drive a circuit you're familiar with in the opposite direction. So yeah. Anyway, over the bridge and far away, we're up into the race lead. So that didn't take too long, and yeah, we should be pretty safe to win this one from here. Still got well over a lap to go, but anyway, we've done the hard work in the opening lap, so we'll move on to the end of the race. Obviously not much happened between then and now. We'll come to the line, and that'll be a race victory in the European Sunday Cup 400. Obviously we took the easy way out with the engine swapped car there, but anyway, it's a fun little car actually. I did quite enjoy driving that one, and you know, something again a bit different to what we normally have in Gran Turismo. So can't have any complaints really about that. Anyway, the next car is a little bit of a weird one. A while ago we had the AFEELA concept car. Now we have the production version, which strangely enough is marked as a 2026 car, so not available just yet in real life, but we have access to it in the game. It comes in a couple of different colours. When I say colours, I think it's actually just black, grey and white. So I guess you can have that debate as to whether those are colours or not. But either way, it's pretty much identical stats-wise to the concept. And yeah, we'll get going for the Japanese full drive challenge 600 here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, and we'll see what this car's like. We are motoring through the field so far without a sound. It's always a little bit bizarre, but anyway, we're managing to make some decent progress so far. We're up into 7th position on the first of 3 laps. But yeah, it's a bit of a unique car to drive in terms of just, you know, having no audible feedback. You know, like all electric cars, I suppose. There is no sensation of speed. You feel like, you know, right now we're going 180 kilometers an hour. It feels like we're going about 50. Like the sound makes so much difference when you're playing a racing game, and driving electric cars is just never going to feel the same as oh, that was a bit late on the brakes. Obviously, being an electric car, this thing probably weighs about 17 tons, which is always difficult in the braking zones. The weight, along with horsepower, and even the price of this car are actually unspecified in the game. You can literally just pick it up for free, like the other AFEELA, the concept version. Was also available for free, along with the Toyota ambulance, the High Medic. So yeah, it's becoming a slightly more common thing for there to be just free cars in Gran Turismo. And if you're starting out, you know, with a new, you know, on a new account, it's actually not a bad car, and you can get some stuff done in this car in the career mode. So yeah, it's certainly not a bad idea to pick it up early on, because I mean, you might as well. But anyway, as we're continuing to move on through the race, getting into a rhythm and getting a handle on this car. It's got a few, as you noticed, the rear wing on it, so it's got a few customization options available for it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, not much more to be said. So we bring it round. That's another race victory, and the second race of the update ticked off the list. But the last one is by far the most interesting, and the car that we need to use for the final race is also quite interesting. This is the Chevrolet Corvette CX concept from 2025. The latest, you know, insight, I suppose, as to the future of Corvette from Chevrolet. And yeah, we'll see what this crazy machine is like. And when I say crazy, I really do mean it. This is a race intended for Group 2 cars, which are essentially as quick as things get when it comes to racing cars that still look vaguely like their road-going counterparts, largely the Super GT cars in Japan. And this thing needed to be detuned to 70% of its power just to be legal for the performance points requirement for this race. So, as you can see, it has no lack of horsepower. This thing is a rocket ship in a straight line, and an absolute demon on the brakes as well, as we get it slowed down for the chicane. But it does have one, or actually it does have a couple of little flaws, and you might have seen a hint of the first one there. Its mid-corner speed isn't great. Its acceleration and braking is unfathomable. It really is. And remember, this is not even at its full potential. This is restricted to 70% of its power, and it is an absolute rocket ship. Even on that short straight there, we were able to draw alongside, slam the brakes on so hard that we couldn't make the position and couldn't carry the mid-corner speed. And it's very difficult to judge how much cornering speed you can take into the corners, because it's not proportional to how fast you're going on the straight. You know, most cars generally, you know, if they can accelerate and brake really well, they can generally turn very well as well. But not the case with this car. Its turning is, you know, decent, but because its acceleration and braking is so good, it feels like it's going to turn a lot better than it really does, and you end up with a bucket load of understeer, and it's really hard to judge the correct mid-corner speed properly because the brakes are so sensitive. It's so easy to just wash off too much speed, and you end up in all sorts of awkward situations mid-corner. But it does have another issue. We've only done a lap. Not even a lap and a quarter. We haven't even finished Sector 1. There it is. And we're out of fuel, or out of energy. And that's it. We would need to make a pit stop every single lap if we want to make this car work in this event. The multiplier for fuel depletion is on ×8, so, you know, realistically, you could probably get 9 laps out of it. 10 would be a bit of a stretch. But yeah, that is that. There is no way we can win this event in this car. There's no there's no engine map options. Even if there was, usually map 6 allows you to go about 60% further, roughly. So at absolute best, we could get 2 laps out of it. But that's not even an option. We don't have a fuel map for this car, or engine map. So, yeah. This car's useless for this event. It's just not made for a race like this. Keep in mind, I suppose, with the fuel and tyre multiplication factor on ×8, this is essentially simulating an 80-lap race. And in the first, you know, what would essentially be 9 laps worth of fuel and tyres, we've run out. So that kind of puts it in more realistic perspective. It's just not meant to last more than, you know, 20 minutes. It's a hot lap car. If even if the fuel multiplier was on, there it is on screen, by the way. You can see it's on ×8. Even if it was on ×1, you know, it's a you wouldn't get half an hour out of it. It's that bad. So, with that said, we need to try something else for this race. And thankfully, we have one last car from this update that might just do the job. The Corvette CXR VGT, the racing Vision Gran Turismo version of the previous car. And this car is just insane. It's actually got less horsepower slightly compared to the previous version, but it more than makes up for it with how much better it handles over the other versions. It's got a lot more aerodynamic bits and pieces, and if you thought restricting the other one to 70% sounded a little bit extreme, we had to double restrict this car to get it into this event. I put the power output restriction on the ECU all the way down to 70%, which is the minimum, by the way. And I had to do the same thing for the power restriction, which is a separate tuning option. I had to drag that all the way down to 70%. So, I mean, I guess if you combine those, we're down to 49% of what this car is capable of. The actual horsepower figure itself is not at 49%. So I don't know exactly how the calculations of all that work, but anyway, that's what the percentages say. But either way, we also, on top of that, had to add 15 kilos of ballast. Then it was legal in the race only on hard compound tyres. Otherwise, the performance points would still be too high. So, unfortunately, though, it does suffer from one of the same issues as the other version of this car, and that is the fuel economy isn't great. We got 3 laps out of it. One of those was a full conserve lap, lifting and coasting on fuel map 6, which thankfully this car does have fuel maps, which is very, very helpful. But yeah, it has a new issue though. As you can see, right now we're topping out at just under 230 k's an hour, and that is a problem. Once the hybrid depletes in this car, it's no good. We have no horsepower. It's it just kind of stalls out, and that's not anything to do with running it at such a restricted power setting. Driving this car in lobbies, in open lobbies online, it has the same issue. As soon as the hybrid runs out, you just have no horsepower left to push the car through the air. Of course, it's got a lot of aerodynamic bits and pieces. It's probably quite draggy, and once the hybrid runs out, you're just slow. Another pit stop later, and we fall off the lead lap in this race. We have no pace. I did push on to the end just to see what we could do, and to see if the problem would, you know, in any way rectify itself, but it never did, and we come 18th in the race. So, while this car is somewhat more usable, it's still not going to get the job done. But we can manage the race a lot better. If I use map 6 for the entire race, we can definitely do a one-stop. It'll be pushing it, but we can definitely do it. I'll still need to do a little bit of lift and coast to make it work, I think. But even doing that, and I'm just going to cut to the chase so we don't spend too much time, even with what was a relatively optimal race, driving a lot better than I did in the first attempt, we could only manage 6th. So, yeah, it's just not good enough. The car just can't do it. Maybe in, you know, a more talented driver's hands. This is on the easiest difficulty setting, by the way. So the fact that we can't do it on the easiest difficulty setting is quite alarming. So we switched to plan B, and that is to use the tried and tested method of driving a car that was never intended to be used in the event, by which I mean a Group 1 car in a Group 2 event. This is the Nissan GT-R Le Mans car from 2015, and it had a bit of an update at some point, because this used to be marked as a front-wheel drive due to the non-functional hybrid system in its real-life counterpart, but it was updated to the four-wheel drive version that it was meant to be at some point. I don't remember ever seeing it in the patch notes of any update, but it happened at some point, and now it's actually decent. It's probably not the best Group 1 car, but it's a very drivable and usable car now, which it certainly wasn't back in the day. So we're going to give this car its chance, even though we're a class up essentially on everyone else. Hopefully we can have a good time here in this race. Keep in mind I've spent a long time on this race now, with the previous Corvettes being pretty disappointing. We will return to those cars in due course, and by which I mean immediately after this. After we've finished going through all the content in the update, I'll revisit the Corvettes in a race that's more fitting for them. But for now, we'll just keep pushing on through this race and try and get it ticked off the list in this car. And right now we are motoring on through the field, making pretty good progress, as we're already up into 15th position. So yeah, we've got through a quarter of the field in the first 3/4 of a lap or thereabouts, and yeah, gotta say this car's feeling good. It's I mean, I don't know what to really say about this compared to there's not really a easy way to compare this to what I was just driving. Obviously not quite as ridiculous on the straights, but so much more controllable. But anyway, we have a little bit of a mishap at the final corner. We'll just steadily make our way back onto the track. But anyway, we've moved our way up into 11th position as we continue on then through lap 2, through Puon. We've got a nice run on the exit. We should be able to take P10, maybe even P9 here as we send one up the inside into Fernia. We get the job done and continue moving ourselves forward through the field. And you can already see in the bottom left, if you look at the fuel mileage, got about 3/4 of a tank on lap 2. So yeah, that and we're already towards the end of lap 2. So yeah, we've definitely got the fuel mileage to get the job done. I've got the weather radar up in the corner as well, just to see if there is anything on the way, but looks to be all clear for the moment. Of course, the 1 hour race at Spa in Group 3 cars almost always has weather once or twice throughout the race. This race probably around 25 minutes or so, I would imagine, maybe a bit less actually, but yeah, it seems like there's no weather for this one. It's just a straight up dry race from start to finish, at least from what I've seen in the attempts I've made at this race. Perhaps if it was wet, actually, it would have suited the Corvettes a little better, or at least the CXR VGT version. But anyway, we're continuing to make plenty of overtakes and making our way up through the field. We're almost 3/4 of the way up now, so yeah, we've made pretty rapid progress, as you would expect, driving a bit of a cheaty car for the event as we run wide out of the final corner. It struggles in the low speed a little bit, this car. Obviously, maybe not its strong suit, but anyway, we'll just manage those sections of the track, and as the two ahead start to fight away, hopefully we'll be able to get ourselves towards the front of the field very soon, and well, not quite able to squeeze our way through there, but on the exit maybe we'll have to switch to the left hand side, and we'll get the job done there on the exit of Radion, and move ourselves up eventually into fourth position rather, with just 3 cars left in front of us, and we've already closed into the first one. We should probably be able to make a move into Rivage with a decent exit there. We're not quite close enough, so we'll have to maybe carry the momentum around the outside. Not able to do that. These Group 2 cars are very good in the corners. They actually have a lot of downforce themselves, so we can't just power past them around the outside of any old corner. We do have to somewhat force our way through with some of these overtakes because they're not slow. But anyway, with that overtake done, we are up into 3rd position finally. So with that, our first stint comes to an end at the end of lap 5. So splitting it halfway, and yeah, we'll be pushing on to the end, and we really cooked our tyres. Our front tyres had very little left to give at the end of that stint. But anyway, we'll stick with the mediums for the next one as well. They did the job, so why change? We'll top up the fuel, or as much as we need, and yeah, that should be good to set us going for the rest of the race. So we come out of pits, we drop into position 5, so a little bit of work to do to get ourselves towards the front of the field once more, as we send ourselves scuttling across the curves there. But either way, we'll make the move in a straight line up into 4th position. So yeah, oh, I just noticed there is actually a little something on the weather radar there, so maybe there is possible rain in this race, and yeah, it just never actually occurred for me, but there is something on the radar, so maybe it is possible. But either way, we move up into 3rd position, and eventually up into 2nd. So as pit stops and other things play out, we start to make our way towards the front of the field, and that is the race leader right there, and we'll make the move down the inside into the bus stop, and we'll make a little bit of contact on the way through, but we'll get the job done, and we'll move ourselves up into the race lead with a couple of laps left, 3 to go in this race. So with that, we move on to the final lap, and not much else happened there. You can see on the weather radar that little snaky cloud has moved closer, not particularly threatening in terms of the quantity of rain in it. Very little to speak of there, but I guess that does show that weather can happen in this race. It may just be very unlikely. But either way, we finally tick this race off the list. The Corvettes unfortunately couldn't do it for us, but we get it done, and that is a race victory here at Spa in the World Touring Car 900, and a nice 300k for that race. So not a great money to time ratio. The other Spa race, the 1 hour race where we get 1.5 million, is definitely better. But anyway, we have a menu book. So let's get to that. Congratulations, you've got all 3 cars. This completes your Japanese Racing Pioneers collection. Once you've collected your present, I'll tell you some stories about these cars. And there we go. Collection, Japanese Racing Pioneers, a 6-star engine ticket for our troubles. Now, let's see what we can learn about these cars. These cars are shining examples of Japan's first forays into the world of international motorsports. You know, it wasn't until the 1950s that Japanese cars began competing at international rallies. And it was only in the 1960s that the country began to have its own international standard tracks, with Suzuka Circuit opening in '62 and the Fuji Speedway in '66. 1963 also saw the start of the Japanese Grand Prix, followed by the Fuji 24 Hours in 1967. These races, featuring the world's best cars and drivers, proved to be the perfect training ground for the Japanese, resulting in countless masterpieces that have long been seared into our collective memory. Take, for example, this first-gen Skyline GTR, which had 49 consecutive wins at Japanese Touring Car Championships. This is the KPGC-10 model, a two-door hardtop from 1970 and a Nissan legend. Honda first entered the racing world on two wheels and is well known for its small sports cars. Powered by an 800cc DOHC engine, this S800 was able to draw a whole lot of performance out of a small package. A favourite of many privateers, it was an unstoppable force in the under 1000cc class. For its part, Toyota took to the track with its flagship 2000 GT. This high-performance Grand Tourer brought together the best of Toyota's technical abilities in one package. Beginning with a 1-2 finish at the Suzuka 1000 km in 1966, it went on to win many victories with fiery fighting spirit. This is a truly fabulous collection that brings to mind the spirit of the 1960s and the dawn of Japanese motorsports. What a cool bunch of cars they are. But anyway, that brings us to the end of the new content in the update, but obviously not quite to the end of the video, as you can tell. We have a bunch of roulette tickets to go spin, so let's get these out of the way. We'll start with the 4-star ticket because it's the least interesting, and yeah, we just get a relatively standard 4-star ticket reward there of 30k. That's pretty much what you would expect. Let's try the 5-star ticket next and see what we get for this one. And we have a bunch of different money options on offer. The 500k looks very nice, and that is indeed what we get. So thanks, Kaz, for that. That does the bank balance a few favors there. The last one, the 6-star engine ticket that we just got from the menu book there. And obviously this would just potentially save us paying for an engine swap in future if we get one for free that is actually usable. We get the Suzuki Swift engine. So as far as I know, that only goes in the Jimneys, which I've already done. But anyway, that's that. To go back to the Corvettes though, one track that will definitely suit this car is High Speed Ring. Unfortunately, when setting up a custom race with a couple of VGTs and a handful of other odd cars in the game, you can only do one make races, so I was hoping to do a full field of VGT cars, which I guess technically this is, but they are all exactly the same. I was hoping to feature quite a few different VGTs, and my goodness, they don't know what to do at the first corner there. They were all taking the low line rather slowly, but we'll see if we can fight our way through the field and see how this car handles at full power with no restrictions at High Speed Ring. And yeah, this should be good. We're in a bit of traffic at the moment, so I have to be a little bit cautious, but hopefully we can get some clean air at some point and start to push this thing to its limits. Still struggling a little bit on the flat corners in the mid-sector, but through the banking, turn 1, and even here we're quite low on the banking, so couldn't really take full advantage of it there. But nice launch out of the final corner, and we are just passing everyone in a straight line. Not sure why they're all going so slowly, but anyway, you can start to see the full speed potential of this car as we are on a long enough straight. I dare say we could probably hit 400 with how quickly we were accelerating there. I didn't actually test the top speed of this car. I probably should have done that. But either way, it's quite quick. Again, we have to go a little bit slower than what I would like through this middle sector, but that's a fairly minor gripe with this car. It's talking about its strengths and weaknesses is a little bit kind of pointless, because at the end of the day, you're never going to race it against anything other than other than itself. In this kind of race, whether it be AI or online, you're never going to put this against other cars in the game. So yeah, it's a little bit strange like that. Hopefully one day we don't have these restrictions on some of these VGT cars that can only race against themselves. And there can be some level of competitiveness between VGTs. What's strange though is you can still set it as an opponent car if you drive something that isn't this. So it's really strange the way that works. But either way, we are now heading around the final corner, and yeah, this absolutely crazy car is quite fun to drive around high speed ring, I will give it that. But it's just a shame you can only do it in one make races. Would have been really cool to do a full field of all the fastest VGT cars to see where this thing truly stacks up. But like I said, you can do that as long as you don't drive the Corvette yourself. So we're in the Chaparral VGT. I've set up a field of all the fastest VGTs and a couple of other crazy things in this game. I think I put the Red Bull cars in as well. This car is a rocket ship off the line. We launch all the way to the race lead. I put the slowest cars at the front of the field. So we launch ourselves away towards turn 2 very quickly. And I've set up a 5-lap race. And in a moment I'll go back to the replays and see how the Corvettes fare against everything else. There goes the Tomahawk X, of course, the fastest car in the game by an absolute mile. I'm surprised it actually took them 3 laps to catch up to me. I thought they would get through the field pretty quick, as we put a lap on the Audi, currently running in last position. So now we get a sense for where the Corvettes stack up. There's the Alpine, the Peugeot, and the Skoda there. I've almost forgot about that car. Goodness me. It's still so weird to me that we have a Skoda VGT. Skoda have never been in Gran Turismo before. But anyway, as we continue on, we've got the Ferrari in front of us now. We'll squeeze to the inside, the Hyundai VGT. There's the Genesis as we shimmy our way around the outside. We find the barrier a bit there, but not to worry. We'll carry on and see if we can catch sight of the Corvettes before the end of the race. There's the McLaren, there's the Tomahawk getting held up there behind the Mazda and the Red Bull. And we also put a lap on the Bugatti as we cross the line. There is the Corvette. They were in 9th position. That was the Corvette CX. So yet to see where the CXR finished. They finished in 8th, so just ahead. But pretty similar performance out of the pair of them. But 8th and 9th, essentially 7th and 8th if you exclude my car, against the absolute fastest cars in the game. That is not a bad showing at all for those two cars. We're going to have a look at the replay then and see exactly what happened with these cars throughout the race. Straight away, of course, you can see myself shooting to the race lead. The Bugatti with a good start as well off the line. I do like the Bugatti VGT. It's one of my personal favourites. It looks very Bugatti. You know, it just looks mean, sounds mean as well. But hugging the low line there is the Corvette. Interesting technique. But as you can see, a fair bit of chaos playing out as all the faster cars try to work their way through, duking it out side by side with the Skoda at the moment. And you saw by the end of the race how far ahead the Corvette was ahead of the Skoda, but pretty similar performance as they get overtaken by the Chaparral. Pretty even in the corners, Corvette versus Skoda, so it just shows how much of the Corvette speed is in the acceleration zones. You're under pressure by the Red Bull car there, but look at the straight line speed. I mean, ignore the Tomahawk because that's going to make anything look like it's standing still, but versus the Red Bull car there in the background that's just disappeared now. The Corvette is just ridiculously fast, but again, it just can't carry the cornering speed even versus the other VGTs, which it is a relatively common thing for VGTs to be very quick on the straights and struggle a bit in the corners. There are quite a few VGTs that struggle with that issue. The most recent example is probably the Genesis VGT, the Gran Berlinetta, not to be confused with the Gran Racer, which is the one in this race. But yeah, a lot of the kind of sort of middle tier VGTs, I suppose, the ones that aren't particularly fast or slow by VGT standards, kind of fall into that category of not handling particularly well. But anyway, you can see the ridiculous straight line speed, just the gap to the Bugatti in front just disappearing on the straight, and then even through that corner, which isn't particularly sharp, it's easy flat for 99% of cases, as the Tomahawk S gets through there, the slowest version of the Tomahawk VGT. But we're going to go back now and have a look at the CXR and see where this thing stacks up. I've been calling the other one the CX, a VGT. I'm not 100% sure if it is, because unlike this one and unlike most VGTs in the game, it doesn't actually have the letters VGT or Vision Gran Turismo, in words, in the actual name tag of the car. So yeah, it might just be a regular concept car, not sure. But either way, we'll see how the race progresses for the two Corvettes as they hit the straight once more. And it looks like both Corvettes are going for overtakes. CX on Bugatti, CXR on Mazda, and they both get the moves done. So finally, the other Corvette got through on that Bugatti. They've been trying for the last couple of laps, but the Bugatti kept getting too far ahead in the corners. But eventually, the Corvette was able to get through. Around the outside goes the CXR on the Bugatti, and that just shows how much more cornering performance it's got over the CX. And down the inside, double overtake into the right-hander there, and absolutely leaves those two behind. So obviously the CXR, a much superior version, just driving away through the corners, and is just about as quick in a straight line as well. So yeah, two very cool cars. It's just a shame that they just don't really have a place in the game. There's not really a nice place in the standard career mode to use them, but they are very, very quick nonetheless. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one. So I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give us some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.